the next day, which is just beautiful and wonderful heavenly news for me and a subgroup of my friends and a subgroup of your friends most likely as well. Biden and the Harris administration decided that on this glorious morning, they were going to wipe the debt of anyone who attended the Art Institute across the country of the United States. All 317,000 of us. It wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of us there. But all 317,000 of us just got our student loans forgiven in a $6.1 billion act that they looked into it. And guess what? Newsflash, we all knew it because we experienced it, but no one was listening back then. Newsflash, the Art Institute was doing some shisty shit. They were telling us a web of lies. They were spinning us a web of hopes and a web of dreams that we would all be accomplished. We would all be the professionals and the owners and the CEOs and the business, and we all be making the salaries and the accomplishments and the goals that we set out to make are 100% going to come true when you sign on the dotted line with the Art Institute. Whether you're in New York, Pennsylvania, whether you're in Pittsburgh, whether you're in Philly, whether you're in Miami, or there are 90 other campus locations, sign on the dotted line. We know, listen, hey, we know the education, it's 3 times as much. Listen, yes, does the education cost anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000? Yes. Is it worth it? 100%. We'll tell you why. Serena Williams. We'll tell you why. Brad Pitt. We'll tell you why. Joe Rogan. They all went to the Art Institute. I'm pretty sure only one of them did, but they all went to the Art Institute. They all got jobs, and guess what now? They're all millionaires, and you can be too. So these student loans in 5 years won't even be a thing. You'll have enough money. You'll be making enough money to pay off these student loans in no time. With the education you're going to get from this school, holy shit, buckle up, kid. We're about to make your dreams come true. And that's the lie that they spun to 317 of us from like 2007 to like 2017. I don't know the year span, but it was one of the biggest scams that I think I've ever been a part of and that I've ever witnessed. Okay, the markup on products, the art kits, the hard drives, the technology, the bookstore, everything was like 300 times the price it should have been. The decision covers people who were enrolled at any Art Institute campus from January 1st, 2004 to October 16th, 2017, a period in which Education Management Corp owned the chain of schools. The Education Department will on Wednesday begin notifying eligible borrowers who are not required to take action. The agency said it also will refund payments that former students have made on loans that are earmarked for forgiveness. So it looks like, depending on the type of loan that the Art Institute kids had, we might potentially all be in for a pretty big check. We did the math. It might potentially be anywhere from $8,000 for some people, and it might be upwards of $100,000 for others. We have a classmate from the Art Institute campus that we went to school with that has been paying $1,200 a month. $1,200 a month for her student loans from the Art Institute of York, Pennsylvania, since 2015. So it's been now, 10, almost 9 years? Let's go ahead and do the math on that, boys. $1,200 a month times 12, that's $14,400 a year, times 9 years so far, and it's still going. it's $129,600. So let's pray to God that the reimbursement portion of the announcement is actually factual, because some kids here got a little effed in the A. Okay, like it's like, so, and that's an extreme case. I didn't know that was at all possible, but I've seen the receipts. Okay, $1,200 a month since 2015. So take that for what it is. The institution falsified data, knowingly misled students and cheated borrowers into taking on mountains of debt without leading to promising career prospects at the end of their studies, President Biden said in a statement. While my predecessor looked the other way when colleges defrauded students and borrowers, I promised to take this on directly to provide borrowers with the relief they need. Of course, Biden is not only doing this out of the goodness of his heart, he's doing this because basically Trump didn't give a shit, is essentially what he's saying. And so to make himself seem as if he is better than Donald Trump, he has decided to forgive our student loans. In the case of the Art Institutes, the department said the chain engaged in a widespread misrepresentations about its job placement rates and relationships with employers to get students to enroll. Although the schools advertised that more than 80% of graduates obtain employment in their related field within 6 months, the department found that the figure was closer to 50%. Hey, it's lower. It's lower than 50%. Listen to me. I don't know about the other programs at the school. I know a few people who were in the graphic design. I know a few people who were in fashion. And I know a few people who were in all the other things that the Art Institute had to offer. I was in the web design, web development group of people. We had like 20 graduates. We had 20 graduates in the class of web design students that I graduated with from the Art Institute in the year 2013. And maybe 5 of us, myself included, so myself plus only 4 others out of those 20 to 30 kids actually got internships and then full-time jobs at agencies, design companies, web development projects, and doing things, and are still till this day working in that field. And everyone else was working at Walmart. I think the one kid got a job at AT&T. I think the other kid became a bus driver. I think one of the kids we graduated with is now, or was at one point in time a few years ago, a bus driver. I think the other one works at Hollister. And I think the other one, I think there's a few of them that are unemployed. It was the most expensive, most overshot. We all should have went to Hack. We all could have went to Hack and got a $30,000 education and would have been placed better in the work field and have been put on a better trajectory at a community college for a third of the price. But instead, they came out the gate swinging at the Art Institute with a $100,000 education. I'll never forget the day my mother and I, Sandy and I, we went right into that Art Institute office, and she said, I want my son to go to college. This is what he's interested in. Can you tell us a little bit about it? And you'll probably sign up. And the lady said, yeah, we do this, we do that, we do this. And it's only $30,000 a year. And I said, wait a minute. How many years do I have? How many years is the program? And she said, well, it's a 4-year program, but you go over the summer and you can get it done in 3. I said, so 3, 6, 9. So 100,000, it'll end up being $120,000. And she said, yep, that's about the average cost. And my mother goes, hey, lady, stop. Don't say another word about the price, because once he figures out how much money that actually is, he's not going to want to go here. And she was absolutely right. If we would have kept talking, I would have backed out, because once I committed, it was already too late. And I was already in for $100,000. But, it's fine. they scammed us out of it, and now it's all gone. Thanks to the Biden administration. The school promised students ongoing career services, but former employees and borrowers said once students graduated, school staff did not return their calls. Staff also admitted to falsifying graduate earning data, giving prospective students the impression that an education from the art institutes would guarantee success. They said that. Oh, trust me, they 1000% did that at our spot. Shout out to AIY, the Art Institute of York. It's not there anymore, obviously, because of this whole debacle. But, dude, students took on high amounts of debt under false pretenses, according to the department. Many borrowers dropped out of their programs and defaulted on their loans. I mean, yeah, gangster. I mean, I haven't paid on my loans in 4 years. Now, half of the time I didn't have to. They started back up, but like, I can't afford, they want $400 a month. They wanted $400 a month. Guess what else I can get for $400 a month? On lease, 2 Teslas. And guess what? I don't have 2 Teslas because I can't afford 2 Teslas. So like, that was ridiculous, let alone the people we knew were paying $500 a month. We knew people who were paying $600 a month, and we know people who were paying $1,200 a month. Because if you didn't consolidate, and even if you did, depending on when and how you did that, your interest rate, the freaking loan, I mean, it never went away. It never stopped. And it was, I mean, they were predatory. It was one of the most horrendous experiences. Yeah, we got an education. Yeah, I followed through, dude. I put the work in. I own the company now. Can't take that away from me. Go ahead. You can take the loan. I've said it. I've been saying it on this podcast. Ever since they announced student loan forgiveness in this country, I think it was like 2 years ago, I was on the podcast with Jeff, and I was like, yo, bro, what about 20 grand towards your student loans? How about getting them, all of them erased? Let's go. Like, it just needs to happen. We've been talking about this for years. And when, dude, I woke up, my buddy Sway, shout out to Sway. He's been on the podcast before too. We've got all sorts of people on the podcast who need their student loans getting rid of. You know what I mean? And so it's just been a wild ride, you know? And so meanwhile, Biden's out here. He's trying to get the votes. He's trying to get the vote.